guys, so tonight I'm making for my dessert, I'm making my squash fries, but I like to sweeten them up a little bit, that's why I call it dessert. So what I'm doing right here is I'm using a baking sheet and I'm putting a piece of parchment on it. I've just found that most people toss these in oil. This is a kabocha squash. It's like a mashed potato consistency. I don't know if you saw it in my previous video, but it ends up, if you cook it, steaming it, it ends up being like the consistency of mashed potatoes. So I double it as fries, and it works just as well. It's almost like my potato replacement. So it's a good thing to eat at night because there's no carbs, not a lot of carbs in it. That way you can kind of swap it in for potatoes. But like I said, I make it a dessert and I make it sweet. So I cut the squash up into little tiny squares, like wedges almost, like a wedge fry. And it basically bakes up and it gets nice and crispy on the outside and it kind of steams itself on the inside. So it's basically like a tater tot, but I put stevia and cinnamon on it at the end after it comes out of the oven. And it's like a crunchy French fry, but it's sweet. Like a sweet potato almost. Alright, I have my squares arranged on my baking sheet and I'm going to pop it in the oven. I put it on the lowest rack inside of the oven. It seems to work better. And I put it in for 40 minutes at about 430, 435 degrees. It seems like it's a little bit high, but trust me, it comes out perfect. And I'll be back to show you what it looks like when it comes out of the oven. Okay, so I smell my squash in the oven cooking, and it's on a pretty high temperature, and I still have a couple minutes to go, so I'm just going to pull it out. What I do the last couple of minutes of the cook time is, you see this is already kind of done, but you can see how brown it is on top, and it's pretty hard, but I always stick it in on the top sheet under the broiler for about a minute or two. That way it gets nice and crispy on the outside and it stays warm and soft on the inside. Okay, so after a couple of minutes under the broiler, it comes out nice and brown. I don't want to burn my face off. So this is what it looks like when it comes out of the oven. You see it's like not sticking to the sheet at all. It's got a little bit of brown on top, but it's nice and crunchy. So, oops, some water there. I put it into a bowl, and I'll show you how I dress it up. It's still really hot right now, so now's a good time to add any kind of seasonings. Sometimes I'll put a little bit of chili powder on there if you want a little spiciness to your sweet. It's kind of what they do in the restaurants if you want the sweet potato fries. So just put them into a semi-even layer in a bowl. And to dress them up, I put stevia. There's my timer because I pulled them out a little bit early. A little bit of stevia, a little bit of salt, and some cinnamon. That's it. So that's the sweet potato French fry knockoffs, and I'm ready to eat. So in terms of nutrition, this is very low in calories. It's kabocha squash and it's about 30 calories per cup, and I used about 4 cups. So this whole bowl of dessert is about 120 to 150 calories. And there's no sugar, so it's a good nighttime, evening thing if you don't want all the sugar before you go to sleep. And it keeps you full till morning. Lots of fiber.